Hello, this is natalchart and welcome to Mystic Mooneries. On today's video, we will be going through what it means to have the North Node in the first house and the South Node in the seventh house of your natal chart. If you enjoy this video, please click like and don't forget to subscribe and comment on anything that resonates with you from this video. And without wasting any more time, let's get into the North Node in the first and South Node in the seventh. All right, so with the North Node in the first house and South Node in the seventh, we have here um, a polarity between the relationship with the self versus the relationship with others. So, with this placement, your identity and sense of self will be often tied to your relationships with others, whether romantic or not romantic. So you'll find that with people with displacement, they may have a deep sense of dependency on their romantic partners or other people that they may have attached to. Um, and this attachment or codependency is their way of avoiding taking responsibility for themselves and their own needs. So there also tends to be a strong need to please and maintain harmony with others because remember, the seventh house is traditionally ruled by Libra. So they tend to have a bit of a people pleasing um, type of personality, often at their own expense. And with this behavior, it could be potentially attributed to a trauma response, maybe from childhood, that they may have developed to help cope with certain difficult or unpredictable, and sometimes it could even be abusive individuals who may have played a significant role in their upbringing, such as a parent or a caregiver or even an older sibling. So, with this, with this person's unpredictable and volatile personality, it could have triggered in the it could have triggered in the North Node and first house person a deep sense of insecurity in how they relate to themselves and how they relate to others. It could have probably felt for them like they were always having to constantly walk on eggshells the entire time in order to maintain a sense of peace um, with the other person or just to avoid the less pleasant side of their personalities. So, as a child, they may have thought, if I can just keep this person pleased and happy at all times by doing everything they say and want, then I can gain their love and their acceptance, and I won't suffer the consequences of making them upset, right? So, this kind of childhood trauma may have also made you develop a very strong intuition or even a very strong sensitivity to other people's needs. And that would have given you this really good understanding of how people work and how to, eventually learn how to like manipulate them in a way. Um, because when you think about people pleasing, as much as it is a bit of a trauma response, and you are the victim in that case, it's also can be seen as a form of manipulation, right? Because you're trying to make someone do something um, for you by pleasing them or playing into their ego or their vulnerabilities or whatever the case is. But it is a form of manipulation when you really think about it, even though for you it's a bit of a defense mechanism. But, anyways, um, yeah, in most cases with people with displacement, there is this desperate need to always pacify um, people in order to maintain some sense of peace and therefore a sense of safety. Um, and that would normally mean you have to let go of any of your needs in order to satisfy theirs to such an extent that you end up psychologically believing that your own needs are not important or are not as valid. And this pattern of behavior often means that you let the other person be the deciding factor on everything, as it means you have to keep pacifying them, and this results in you becoming quite dependent on the other person in making decisions. And this could leave you quite incapable, or rather, let's say, uncomfortable with making decisions for yourself, or even knowing what it is that you want to do, right? Um, so another thing is like people with displacement, with this type of behavior, it can manifest in adulthood, right? Where, the behavior of always trying to pacify people and trying to people please. You'll see this behavior in adulthood where the person now will tend to attract partners who exhibit the same, volatile, unpredictable personality traits as the individual in their childhood, which then again results in a very codependent relationship. Um, Especially, you'll see this the most with romantic partners, where they'll end up allowing the partner to make all the decisions and let the partner basically get away with a lot of things that you may not be happy about because you just want to keep the peace and you want to avoid any kind of negative responses, just to get their affection and keep them from leaving you. And this could lead to you staying in relationships that can have, long served their purpose. Or another thing you could do instead of staying in a relationship longer than you have to, you could simply just jump from one relationship to the next, because you have this deep fear of being alone and having to now tackle life as an individual and now having to make your own decisions, which is something that could be completely foreign to you and quite a scary concept, really. And this kind of pattern can often result in you not really knowing who you are as an individual outside of a relationship, and you might struggle to understand what it is that you even want for yourself. Um, it could be quite difficult for you to also assert yourself in the world in order to get what you desire. So basically, this people pleasing behavior, and having this extremely codependent nature of yours, is what would represent your south node, as it sits in your seventh house, which, like I said before, is ruled by Libra, which is all about partnerships and harmony and, maintaining peace and, just existing with the other. All right, so that's what you're comfortable with. That's the part of your personality that is, almost like a default mode or default setting, and it's your way of, you know, um, having a sense of safety in the world. It's a behavioral pattern that you've developed for yourself in order to feel safe, and you can only feel safe with what you're familiar with, whether that is a healthy thing or not. Um, And, this is obviously a result of your past and your upbringing. This is how you realized, this is the best way to handle people. This is the best way to have harmony and keep people in my life is simply to just pacify them and please them and, abandon myself, in the process, because it keeps them from leaving me, keeps them from not loving me, keeps them from, not being. predictable. Um, yeah, so this would be a part of you that you feel the most comfortable with because that's how you've understood the world to work. It's how you've understood people to work and has now become the default setting that you feel the most comfortable and safe with. It's all that you know, just based on the type of people that you had to deal with growing up. And this is how you were able to manage them and to keep them, I guess. Um, However, because your north node is in the first house, it means that in this lifetime, I guess you would say in your adult life, as you grow up and evolve from your past life, or you could say from your childhood, if you don't want to use the past life scenario, you could just say when you evolve and you grow into being an adult and you know you want to fully live the way that you were meant to live in this lifetime. You are being encouraged by your north node in the first house to basically recognize and heal the negative extremes of the energy that sits in the south node of the seventh house. And you do this by harnessing, you know, this opposing energy of the north node in order for you to find balance and true happiness and fulfillment, right? So, with this placement, your node in the first house, your purpose is basically to learn, to find your voice in relation to other people, right? So romantic or not. And it's for you to understand that you don't have to compromise yourself and who you are in order to be worthy of love and acceptance. You need to learn in this lifetime to be unapologetic about who you are. Um, you need to be unapologetic about your needs and your wants, you know, regardless of how others may feel about it or how they might react to it. It does not matter, right? You are the person that matters right now. And you need to understand that your needs and your wants are just as important and valid as the other person's. And that is a huge, and that, you know, you need to understand that there's a huge, um, you need to understand that there's a huge difference between compromising and sacrificing yourself, right? So your lesson in this lifetime is truly about learning to be a little bit more selfish with your needs and wants. Learn to be independent of the other and develop a sense of assertiveness in how you represent yourself physically and in conversations. You know, make the decisions yourself and for yourself. Your journey in this lifetime, it requires you to learn to lead not just yourself but lead others as well, you know, instead of hiding behind another person, hiding behind your partner and expecting them to take the lead in every aspect of your life. Learn to take responsibility for yourself, you know, and stand up for yourself and learn to love yourself first before loving the other person. um, the aim is also to not necessarily abandon your self node of being able to relate and being able to, you know, understand the needs of the other and learning how to be diplomatic and, you know, tending to other people's needs and learning how to compromise. You can still use all that skill that you've developed of, you know, being diplomatic and being understanding and compassionate towards your partner. Um, but you shouldn't in this lifetime use that as a crutch to not take responsibility for yourself. There has to be a balance between, you know, focusing on the self versus focusing on the other. And you really, really need to focus on building that part of you that is more assertive, that's more selfish, that is more, you know, loving of yourself versus another person, right? So you really, when we talk about the south node and the north node, the aim is honestly to seek balance between these polarizing energies, um, and use the south node in a more constructive way while harnessing the more north node energy, which is less developed in your case. And you will realize that through practicing more of the north node in the first house of self, you will feel a sense of fulfillment and freedom that you've never experienced before. So, yeah, I think that'll be all for the North Node in the first house and South Node in the seventh house. You guys let me know what you think of this interpretation. Do you guys resonate with it? If you do, please comment down below. Let me know how your life basically unfolded with this placement, if you have it in your natal chart or you know anybody who has it in their natal chart. Please share. And I know I used one example here to kind of, give a better picture of what this energy is and how we can manifest. But I'd love to hear more scenarios about how it may have manifested in your life. So yeah, share all your information on the comment section, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you.